So, last time when we left off, there was a bit of, shall we say, internal strife among the party. Melkar had set off his, rather unpleasant spell squarely in the middle of the Blood of the Vine. And while the intention had been to dispose of the three owners of the place, as well as the rather prickly bartender, the only ones who actually died in the casting of the spell were the two children that the group had rescued from old Bone Grinder, the windmill that they burned down to the ground a few days prior.
Should have just left him there in the fire, sitting in the cage.
Learning of the children's fates, Yoan was none too pleased, and decided to hunt Melkar down in the streets of Barovia and confiscate a few things, including a lore book and his staff. Snapping the staff in two and burning both of those objects. As Melkar looked on, in, well, anger is certainly a word you could use. Probably not powerful enough, but it's a word you could use. After watching his, arguably, two of his most cherished possessions in this world or any other one, not really knowing the nature of Barovia, Melkar was freed, and, well, you still have some things to look into, but clearly there are some other issues at hand as well. So, bearing that in mind, what's everybody doing?
I want to climb on top of the wagon and just try and go into a trance-like meditation while we're riding out to the forest. And maybe I can, attempt to commune with my patron or focus or something. Some kind of support or guidance of any kind.
Okay.
Whatever he chooses, it would be useful to me.
Alright. So let's see. As Melkar is doing that, would everyone else like to be doing anything at this point?
I'm sitting up with Rictavio, just, I don't know, sulking righteously.
Is everything burned?
I'm
checking
yeah.
the fire. Is
Yeah,
there any semblance of anything
left? Not really. The book has been burned pretty much to ash. The staff, very much the same. There may be a couple extremely charred, blackened bits of the tentacle that had adorned the top of the staff, but nothing large enough that it would even be recognizable at this point.
Damn it. Alright, I guess I will join them on the wagon.
Okay. What would Yoan like to be doing through all this?
Did you not hear me?
I did not.
Oh. I said I'm gonna sit up in front of the wagon with Rictavio sulking righteously.
Okay. So, kind of sitting there in an uncomfortable silence for a while. Rictavio kind of, shifts his gaze from party member to party member. Certainly uneasy at the entire scenario that's kind of unfolded before his eyes. And he kind of allows you some time to process and what have you before approaching, first of all, approaching Ron, because he seems like the least perturbed at this point. And says, well, is the plan to move on, or is there something else that needs to be done?
Well, I don't know if he can actually do anything, and I point to Malkar now. Because pretty sure that book might have been his spell book. Now, don't quote me on that. I'm not a wizard. I'm not, I don't do that kind of stuff, but I've seen some of his ilk use things such as that. But, so maybe see if we can find him something to replace it? Like, anything? A wand? Other than that, no, we probably should move on. And just kind of count our losses. That's my thoughts.
Okay. He kind of nods and acknowledges that, and seems to think for quite some time on what you've brought up to him. In the meantime, as Malkar is sitting, meditating, trying to reach out for some sort of guidance or sign or intervention or something on the part of his patron, there are a number of small, quiet voices that he can sort of hear creeping up in the back of his mind. They all seem to kind of be vying for attention. Though none of them have the same familiar, unknowable, inscrutable qualities of what he has come to know as the awe-inspiring, if perhaps indifferent, attitude of his patron. But there are a choir, practically, of voices just vying for his attention. You hear this kind of wispy, sinister, evil female voice who introduces herself as the Queen of Poxes, bids you to accept her gift. You hear another low, rumbling voice that introduces himself simply as the Soul Hungerer, offers you control over death. There is another snarling, rumbling voice just introduced as the Grave Worm that offers you a gift of some sort of dark power. And it goes on and on and on until the voices become almost unbearable in his head.
Is there any way I can try to single one out and get more detail on what it's trying to offer?
Alright, so let's see.
You're on like the Pornhub of fucking. It's like you just go on there and just everything.
Let's see. So, I'm going to give you a few different titles that are introduced to you, and you tell me which one you would like to pursue.
Titles as in, like, the voice trying to talk to me, or the gift being offered?
Like the way that the voices have been introduced. So, you've already heard from the Soul Hungerer and the Queen of Poxes and the Grave Worm. There are a few others.
Alright.
I'll sort of creep into your head. The Howling Storm, the Lady of Delights, the Nine-Eyed Spider, He of the Many Teeth, the Kingmaker, the Star of Secrets, the Eye of Shadows, the Five-Headed Destroyer, the Invincible, the Finger of Oblivion, or the Hellhound Whisperer.
The Finger of Oblivion, that one sounds ominous.
Okay.
Move over, Malcar. It's my turn to use the computer. God.
Alright. So, as you attempt to focus in on this voice, you hear this kind of sinister, scheming kind of tone come over the voice that now kind of takes the forefront in your mind. And it just says, "A curious fluid blood is, don't you think? It flows red, but it can easily bring death. I say it ought to be black. My gifts confer you the power to make this judgment. All you have to do is accept it, and you will have the power to judge anyone in your way. That's how I got to be known as Norganas, the Finger of Oblivion."
What's the catch?
You're no stranger to deals with your greaters.
No, my patron's Cthulhu. Have you heard of him? The Great Old One?
I do not know this name. It would seem that your patron holds little power here.
Nah, he tends to destroy all of his enemies. You should be thankful he hasn't been in your presence.
I offer you a gift to be used however you please. What say you?
I say, what's the drawback? There's gotta be some kind of catch.
Silence.
I just make a mental yawn, and I just say, next, and click.
Alright. Did you have any other ones that sounded good to you?
No. Maybe another time.
Alright. So,
Not making any deals today?
No. I'll stick with my current patron.
He was ready. No, that was Cthulhu ready to auction your ass off.
All right. So then, as you cast that aside and kind of fight back the other clamoring whispers in the back of your mind, everything just goes silent again. Nothing.
I just got the asshole idea. Once in a while, just do this again and contact the Finger of Oblivion every time, and then just reject them every time. Waste his time.
You're
Let's
an asshole.
tell me how that works out for you. I'm just saying that it might not be good to, anger it.
Like Ding Dong Ditchin'. Or prank
The
call.
same house over and over and over and over again.
We can switch to someone else.
All
You're
right.
gonna do that though?
Maybe once in a while.
Oh, okay. You're saying over time.
Yeah.
Not like
Oh,
right now.
yeah. I thought you were just gonna keep wasting his time.
I will just like once a session or something.
Oh, that'll piss him off.
All right.
But I'm not there. I'm not in your mind.
Just gonna lay back on the wagon and stare up at the cloudy sky.
Okay. So, that being the case, Rictavio being kind of off to himself, mulling things over, is there
Hey, Yoan,
anything?
aren't you pulling the wagon?
Oh, I guess I should.
Yeah. Okay, I just was trying to make sure. I'm like, wait, who's pulling the wagon? I thought the horse died. Okay.
I'll become a horse.
So I am sitting next to Rictavio then.
Okay.
I am pure black. With the shaggy feet.
Or your Clydesdale.
Ooh.
I'm like
okay.
a black Clydesdale.
Metal
Ooh.
Clydesdale.
Pretty.
Okay.
Does Ron say that?
Yeah. You say, ooh, pretty.
All right. So, Rictavio kind of pulls Ron aside, and after a few minutes of thought, he says, Are you sure it's wise to put something as potent as a spellcasting focus back in his hand? Well, having seen what transpired here merely a few minutes ago.
I have a feeling we can, without that book, he'll be a little more sensible, at the very least. He's, you've seen it, he's been fervorously reading that book. So, and I'm not sure what was in it, but apparently Yoan didn't like it. So, I just merely suggested we take it away from him so maybe he focuses on what's going on. But, as far as a spell focus, I mean, it's either that or I can give him my hand cone. And I can kind of control it, I guess. But, even still, it's, if we're down him, I mean, you saw what happened at the windmill. Granted, the darkness kind of sucked, but it saved us, I think, from getting our asses kicked. I don't know, I couldn't really see anything.
Am I able to overhear this at all?
I mean, nobody specified that they were using mental communications at all, so I would say, well, make a perception check. Yeah, I would say you're at least able to make out the gist of what's being said.
Just gonna randomly lay one of my hands off the side and blow a tree up for attempt to still cast that.
Okay. So, let's see what happens. This will be interesting.
You're not helping the cause, motherfucker.
I don't think you realize I have a spellcasting focus.
Alright, so, yeah, that actually does seem to work, as a brief blast of energy emanates from your hand and kind of blows through the trees, not squarely hitting any of them, but you can tell that there's still something behind your spell, at the very least.
Broke a few branches.
Yeah.
Do I notice this? Can I perception it?
I mean, you'd probably hear the
I
of...
don't. Should I roll a perception check just to make sure I notice?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Alright,
easy
I
enough.
just wanted to make sure I didn't, just derp. So. I'll say, holy
Everything
shit.
will be fine as a nuke goes off in the background.
I will cast message to Malkar and say, I wouldn't have helped you if I'd have known you were going to be a dick. I'm trying to help you. Help me help you.
What'd I do?
You know what you're doing. Just play it cool, man. Chill. And try not to kill anything else. Oh, orphans. Kids. Yeah.
Click.
I understand that, but in the future.
Like, click as I was hanging up.
What?
Click as I was hanging up.
Oh.
I thought you said Grick, and I'm like, Grick!
Yeah.
Suddenly he gricks.
You can't hang up on a message.
I can just not respond.
Fair enough, I guess. But I'll just say, okay, well, cool. And I'll look at Rictavio and say, you know what, maybe you're right. Perhaps we shouldn't let him have anything. So.
Ron realizing the wisdom of my ways.
No, he's just being a dick right now. I'll try again later.
Yeah, I think you're giving Ron a little too much
Yeah.
strategic credit.
Far too much credit.
But, okay. So, yeah, with kind of a quick nod, Rictavio just kind of turns to face forward. And what is Malkar doing with prestidigitation?
Making fireworks. Or the sparks or whatever.
Oh. I'll just say, and I will message Malkar and say, see, that's more like it.
Okay. So yeah, a few sparks just.
I'll do it too.
Okay.
'Cause I have prestidigitation. There we go.
All right. So that being the case, Rictavio just sort of looks over to Ron and says, "Well, shall we continue on to where was it that you needed to go again?"
We were going to the flute place, or the accordion music. The place in the
Oh,
woods.
yes,
You were less than pleased about it.
indeed. Well, I suppose if it needs to be done, then it needs to be done. And he kind of just gives a gentle tap to Yoan the horse's hindquarters.
By the way, do you know where we could procure you a new horse?
Well, my first choice probably would have been Valaki, but it would seem, due to recent circumstances, that may no longer be an option. That being the case, I might suggest town of Kresk along the opposite border of Barovia, beyond Valaki and just past the winery.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Wait. Oh, right, winery. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. We gotta go through Valake. So,
Oh, whoops, wrong map.
wrong map.
That one.
Is. Let me zoom out.
Nah.
We're not going to Velaki.
No.
We're going into the dark area over here.
Right now, yes.
Yeah. I'm just saying, the other town is, like, way the fuck over, like...
Past Velaki and the winery.
So it's past that. Where's the
Way over
winery?
here.
Oh, the winery's
Well-
over there?
Winery's there.
Oh, zooming out. Zooming out so I can answer questions. Why you no zoom? Ah.
It was a problem I was having. They just eventually let me do
Okay. So yes, the place where the pings are,
it.
that would be the winery.
Okay.
I
Wow,
like
we
the
were
big
way
circle
over
down
there.
there.
Oh, yeah, that is the circle down there.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Okay. So, is this like a road here or something, or?
Yes. So where the path kind of branches off to head south and go to the winery, there is a bridge that would head across the Raven River to the northwest.
Okay.
Kresk is probably a couple miles through the woods in that direction.
Okay. And then this other road up here, where does that go?
That leads to the tower out on the lake that
Gotcha.
you guys passed by and ended up not stopping at on the way back to Valaki from the winery.
Gotcha. And then this was something that we like when we took the path near through the woods, right?
Yeah, that's another fully fleshed out road,
Okay.
but it was not relevant at the time, and so you chose not to explore it.
Right. I'm just making sure that I'm understanding
Yep.
just kind of where things are.
Yeah, and also worth noting, since we're kind of pointing things out in that area, right here there is another kind of fork in the road that would head directly south.
Okay. And then, yeah. But where we want to go is over here, right?
In the dark area.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, once we go across the bridge and then back over.
Actually, you would fork right here.
Oh, I
You
thought
go-
we...
And go into the woods? Go straight north?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Well. What are you measuring? That's 0. That's all 0.
That's what I was curious about.
Yeah. So, all that being ready, assuming Yoan is willing to proceed, because everything is kind of counting on him.
Yoan is willing.
Okay.
Would we have enough time to short rest?
Just along the ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so.
Cool.
At least those of you who aren't pulling a wagon.
Yeah, if you want to, Brown, are you gonna roll hit dice?
Yeah, I have to have 7 health.
Alright, I'm going to Song of Rest with my Sham. Or, not even a Sham. I'll just pull out my didgeridoo like usual. Just because I can. And that
Wait, what do
is,
I get?
you get an extra D8.
Per dice I spend, or
No, sorry, D6. Just one extra D6.
like,
Yeah, it's basically if you use any hit dice at all, you get to
Yes.
add a d6.
There you go. So you get an extra 3. And in a short rest, I now get all of my bardic inspiration back. You don't add a D6 each time, though. So.
I mean,
Still
with,
rolled 2 9s.
yeah, with
Yeah.
double max rolls, I think he's going to be in pretty decent shape.
Yeah.
somebody with a 7. I quadrupled my health.
Yeah, that's not bad.
He now has more health than I do.
All right.
All my spell slots back too.
There is that.
Not that you can use
If only there was some sort of spellcasting focus you could use them with. Okay.
Just for a question, would I know if he could use my spellcasting focus?
You probably don't have an intimate knowledge of the type of magic that he uses, but from what you've seen, he probably would be able to.
Okay.
Would I know he could use mine? I am very, very, what is it? I got the check mark in Arcana.
You're proficient.
Yes, that one. I'm proficient in Arcana. I couldn't remember the damn word, alright?
I am very, very...
Check mark.
Yeah.
Is a pinch of soot and salt something I could have easily acquired?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Like
soot you
without-
could have grabbed from the campfire, and salt. I'm sure you're pretty salty right now. You can get some salt.
I mean, okay, so yeah, I would say, if Malkar were to take some preemptive measures to maybe bring some spell components, it would be easy enough to go through the now near abandoned Blood of the Vine, grab some salt and some soot from the fireplace.
Oh shit!
Is
You
there-
know what? Since that place abandoned, I'm gonna go in and loot the place.
I thought the bar guy was still there.
I did say near abandoned.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
What?
Nothing. I forgot. I thought he ran out too.
No, he was still hiding behind the bar.
So can I have, for the trip, have a pinch of soot and salt?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to... So I'm going to travel through that after the long rest.
Short rest, you mean?
Oh yeah, sorry, short rest.
Okay. So, under the direction of Rictavio, Yoan pulls the wagon southwest out of the village, over the Evelys River into the dense woods of Barovia once again, following the winding road that seems to kind of jog for part of the ride alongside the river, and then kind of sharply diverge from it deeper into the woods. As you come up to the fork that you've traversed now a couple of times in your travels between Barovia and Balaki, this time, unlike all those journeys before, you take the right path, and it leads on for another mile or so through the woods before eventually the trees give way to a smallish, arguably lake, probably more like a large pond. And as you enter the clearing that houses this pond, you can see about a quarter mile to the north there are a series of tents set up kind of along the coast of the pond, where it sort of converges back down to a flowing river and kind of meanders off around a bend. From the tents there, you can hear a number of musical instruments playing, something like an accordion, tambourines, some sort of drums, and what sound like just kind of joyful ramblings, singing, just generally kind of carefree, light-hearted music and dancing going on.
At this point, I'm gonna kind of lean over to Octavia and go, "So are we gonna go in guns blazing or what? I mean, how are we gonna do this? Hey, Owen, are we going in guns blazing?" I kind of lean over, ask Owen the horse.
I shake my head. No.
Yes. Okay. Well, that's 2 for go in guns blazing. How about you, Malkar? You think we should go in guns blazing?
I whinny really loudly and rear up.
Easy, Owen. It's okay. We'll get to it in a minute.
I'll give you cover fire.
Okay.
What is it with you people in tent civilizations?
All up to you, Rictavio.
Wait,
What
what?
do you say?
Unhorse myself.
Okay. You unhorse yourself, and what?
Are you an idiot? Like, we probably should not go in guns blazing because we're outnumbered and they seem happy.
Well,
So, this probably isn't a bad place.
what about Irina?
Well, hopefully she's here. She said she was hiding out here.
Like,
So,
is she at the party, though, or is she, like, hiding from the people at the party? And those witches were going to the party. I mean, they're ugly. How could they get invited to a party like this? Why didn't I get invited to a party like this?
Because you were in a different city.
Oh. Well... But how did they get invited? I mean, they're ugly.
Who?
They were probably nice to someone.
Oh. The people at the bar. At the inn.
Who are the owners of the bar?
Yeah, but they were like older ladies, weren't they?
They're probably supplying all the booze.
And they weren't that old, for reference.
Oh, I thought they were like 60s.
I thought they were like 30s.
Closer to 30s, probably.
Ah, oh, okay.
You have to invite the people that are bringing the booze.
I thought they were in their 60s and they were like old ladies. And I was like, what the fuck? Who's inviting these people? Okay, that was my bad.
Ron likes robbing the cradle.
Yep. I mean, they look old to me. Bear in mind, I am probably about 26, 25, maybe. You know,
Still older than me.
mid to late 20s. So.
So, like, 5 years younger than them. Is what you're saying.
They're
5
old.
to 10 years younger than them.
Yeah, they're old. They look like cougars. Anyway. So yes, that's, yeah, I'll just, no guns blazing then?
No. We should just walk in and ask if anyone's seen her.
Oh. Okay. Alright.
If you're watching from a distance, give cover fire. They're already looking out for me.
Wait, what? Oh. Well, those old ladies didn't run home and fix themselves and then run out to the party. They're pretty done. Those ladies are done. I think. They had enough adventure for the night. At least for a while. Because we kind of blew them up and came right here.
Well, anyways, I'll start walking towards the camp.
Okay.
Making me get up and do things. Hop down off the wagon.
You're hopping off?
Yeah.
I'll hop off the wagon too and say, oh, well, what did that accomplish? Well, the wagon's not going anywhere anyway.
Yeah.
We all have to hop off the wagon.
Ragged stuck.
So we're on foot.
Yep.
So you're just gonna sit there?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I got off the wagon and I'm going.
Oh, you're heading in. Okay, I'll follow you.
Alright. Rictavio seems to be pretty content just hanging back on his wagon for the time being.
I'll turn around and say, well, I'll, do something. Look for fireworks. We'll shoot fireworks if we need you. No, that's too obvious. Shit.
Look for a giant fireball in the sky.
Yeah, that one. No, that might be too obvious too.
That's a good thing.
Look for a giant pink firework in the sky. That'll be the signal.
Alright, he kind of raises an eyebrow and just nods, like, alright.
Cool. And I'll turn and follow Malkar. And I guess Yoan as well?
Yeah.
I'm going. I'm gonna walk like 5 feet behind you.
Okay.
Just because I don't want to be like as close to them as I can be.
I'm walking right next to Malkar, just kind of babbling.
I want to walk up to the first person I see and ask them if they know where Irene is.
Okay.
Spice?
As
Spice.
you as you walk up, you can hear the accordion playing and a few pretty notably inebriated voices singing along. There are a number of smallish wagons sort of circled up in kind of the interior portion of this camp, framed on the outside by 5 or 6 tents. But the group that you see here in the middle just seems to be sitting, drinking, singing, playing, and seeing one of them and approaching. You head up and ask if any of them know the whereabouts of Irina, to which the closest party goer, shall we say, just says, I don't know who that is.
Then I give a short description of her.
Sounds like any one of 100 Barovian women.
Okay, I'll just walk around and look for her.
Is that guy by himself, or is there other people nearby?
He's part of like a group that's kind of sitting circled around the campfire at the center of camp.
Okay, never mind.
I mean, first I see if anyone in that group knows who she is.
Okay. Yeah, you have no luck.
Okay. Yeah, then I wander around trying to look for her.
I do a perception check to just listen, see if anyone's talking in anything other than common.
Sure. You do not hear anything. You don't even need to roll for it because there's nothing to hear.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all in common. Slightly inebriated and kind of through a thick Barovian accent, but okay. And what is Yoan checking for?
Am I looking for her?
You're looking for her. Okay. Yeah, so you kind of poke around, duck your head between the wagons and tents and around the exterior of the camp, and you don't see any sign of Arena.
I'd eventually just turn to Melkar and say I can't find her.
Didn't she say she was on the outside of the whatever party or whatever this is?
Yeah. Oh. Guess I'll look on the outside of the camp, I guess, like the surrounding forest.
Okay.
I'm gonna walk around and look for the shadiest looking motherfucker there.
Okay.
Just real fucking shady, like probably a roguelike, like real dark clothes, stuff like that.
Can I go with him?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'll let him go.
So, a number of these individuals are all kind of clad in very colorful, kind of, for lack of a better term, like gypsy-like clothing.
Mm-hmm.
And you do see one that's kind of off by himself. He's got kind of a partial cloth over his face. Seems to be thumbing through a little package of something. He's kind of, leaned up against a wagon near a couple of tied-off horses.
Am I within 60 feet of him?
Sure.
Alright. I'm gonna message him. Oh, it's 20.
Okay.
I'm gonna message him and say, what kind of stuff you got?
He kind of looks around, stunned for a moment, and his eyes kind of sweep around, and I assume you're making eye contact or something to kind of give it away.
Yeah, I'm just kind of staring at him and just trying to meet his gaze.
Okay.
And as soon as I meet his gaze, I'm gonna nod.
Okay. He says, well, we found some wine off the side of the road, and we were able to bring that into camp, and as you can see, we're all enjoying it quite a bit.
Yeah, but I'm looking for harder.
He kind of gives you a confused look, and I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Can I insight check him to see if he's lying?
Sure.
It was bound to happen.
I mean, you have no reason to suspect that he is lying, or to suspect anything, apparently.
Well, I'll just message him and say, damn, I thought you had some harder, any drugs or anything. looking to score a little bit.
He just kind of chuckles under his breath and turns around and walks off into one of the tents.
I'm gonna watch him. Like, I'm
Okay.
gonna kind of hide and watch him. Does he come out with anything?
No.
Damn. Alright, I'll walk away and go. I'll just look at my parents and say, shit, I was gonna get us some fun party favors for later.
Is this guy off by himself?
I mean, unless you poke your head into the tent, you don't exactly know who's with him, but... I mean...
As we're walking away, I just wanna, I was like, do like a flick over the wrist, kind of behind me, and prestidigitation or control flame, either one, and just kind of just flee out of the tent and walk away.
Even better, I'll be sharing a joint with you. You could just turn and flick that if you would like.
I could do like the prestidigitation sparks and put that light the tent on fire. It's made of cloth.
I mean, there are a number of ways you could do it. I'd say you're able to come up with a way of, catching the base of the cloth on fire, and you do see a little bit of smoke beginning to rise up from where you cast.
I'm just a cool guy and doesn't look at fire, and I walk away.
I'm walking too because I don't notice shit.
Clearly. All right. So yeah, as you're walking away, probably, I don't know, looking for wherever Yoan might have gotten off to. Is that
Yeah.
okay? Yeah. So you kind of skirt around the not the middle, but kind of toward the center of the camp, and you can kind of overhear a drunken guy telling a story about mighty wizard that came to the land over a year ago. I remember him like it was yesterday. He's just talking about how there was like this big revolution that this guy apparently started against Strahd. And he like raised up an army and brought them to Strahd's doorstep, and there was this epic battle between the wizard and the vampire Strahd, and you could see the spells being thrown back and forth from even across the drawbridge of the castle.
At this point, Ron is just entranced. He sees stars in his eyes.
And he goes on, like, retelling the story of this epic fight. He just kind of gets toward the end. He's like, but when the devil Strahd fell upon him, the wizard's magic couldn't save him. I saw him thrown 1,000 feet to his death. I climbed down to the river to search for the wizard's body to see if he had anything of value. But the river Eveleth had already spirited him away.
I just chime in at this point.
Just clapping.
like I'm glad the guy died.
Well, okay. That was a beautiful story.
I'm glad you liked it.
Was it real? Did it actually happen? Or...
Yes.
Oh. Do you know who the wizard was?
You mean like a name?
Or even like what he was known as, other than the wizard.
His name... it's on the tip of my tongue. I cannot not remember, but it sounded important.
Finger of Oblivion by chance?
What?
No?
Oh, okay. Never mind.
He said something about how his name was known throughout whatever place he was from.
It was what? You cut out
It-
there.
How people in his homeland knew his name or something.
Oh.
But if you're interested in these sorts of things, you should speak to Madame Eva.
I put my hand straight up in the air, do like a tiny little spark.
Okay. He just kind of looks at you like, huh?
Who's Madame Eva?
She is one of the elders of our tribe here, and well, she lives in that tent right over there.
That tent right over there. So I just gotta walk over there and talk to her.
Yes, what do you think this is? Some sort of grand adventure or something?
No, I just what
Well, if
tribe?
not, why bother my time?
You said tribe. What tribe is this?
We here are all Vistani.
Vistani. Vistani.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of that one before.
Yeah, our cart broke down a little ways back, so we walked over here to see if we could find some help. But, okay, yeah, I'll go talk to her. Thanks.
Okay.
And I'll turn around and head off.
Not toward the tent, or
No, towards the tent.
okay.
Like, I'll walk like the 60 feet over there and just kind of look around, see if I can find a way to like ring a doorbell or anything like that, and realizing that I'll just say, Madam Eva? Like, assuming I don't see anybody around the tent.
You don't see anybody around the outside, no.
Okay, then I'll just, yeah. Just be like, Madam Eva? Hello?
You just hear this kind of aged old woman's voice. Just, come in, come in.
Okay, open the flap and, I guess, step in.
Alright. In the meantime, Yoan, as you search the perimeter and see no signs of your target, what's the next move?
Go find Ron and Mel.
Okay. I would assume that you're able to do that somewhat easily.
With him letting sparks off from his fingers, I should be able to.
Yeah, that was kind of my line of thinking.
So, is there a blazing tent in the background at this point?
You did hear a little bit of a commotion, and it sounded like splashing of water. Bear in mind, you are right next to a river and a pond, so.
Oh, that's fine.
But yeah, you certainly seem to have incited something.
Alright.
Alright. So, as Melkar and Ron step into the tent, soon followed by Yoan, you can all see that there is a dull reddish glow that kind of covers the interior of the tent, emanating from flames in little jars that don't seem to actually have any fuel to burn off of. Seem to exist there. In the kind of dull flickering light, you see a low table covered in a crude red cloth. A few glints of light seem to flash from what you can see to be a crystal ball on the table as a hunched figure peers into it. As the old crone speaks, her voice crackles like dry weeds. At last, you have arrived. She then just begins to cackle madly.
Were you expecting us?
She kind of looks over the party, almost as though she's kind of like counting you off or taking roll or something. And going across the group, you hear her just say, Ron? Malkar. Yoed.
I give her a stink eye, and I use my wicked mind to say, "Are you after my secrets?"
I look over at Yoan and cast a message, gun blazing.
Not yet. But watch for my signal.
Okay.
She goes on to say, "So, what do I owe pleasure of a visit from one of the most infamous bards to travel the kingdom of Akorant,
Oh.
in someone of great standing in their homeland, and a keeper of dark secrets, such as yourselves.
What do you want?
To know why you stand in my tent."
Following him.
Yes. I was told you could tell me a little more of the wizard that fought Strahd before, then failed. I heard one of the guys out there talking about it.
There have been a number of adventurers that have come to Barovia. They all sort of run together after a while. None of them last very long.
So how do you know who all we are?
I have seen it.
Well, at least somebody recognizes me around here. It's a pleasure to meet you. You know who I am, and your Madam Eva. Are you just the elder of this tribe, or I can see you're a diviner of sorts.
Indeed, it is my gift.
What
I
exactly
could-
have you seen about me?
I've seen much about all of you, including some of the events of your visit to Barovia, past, present, and future.
Wait, you've seen our future?
I have.
Cool.
Tell me, were you impressed?
I give
She just
Melkar
sort
a
of-
strange look.
she sort of looks at you and says, "I am concerned for this one. Seem dark times lie ahead, even darker than what he has seen thus far."
Damn.
Just rub my hands together.
All that I ask is, what of my group? Are we still together in the future?
There are only a handful of visions that I am able to divine about your future
No.
and about your journey. But I do believe I am in possession of some information that might enlighten you with regards to your goals here.
Oh. Okay.
Please, have a seat.
I sit down where I stand.
Okay.
I prefer to remain standing. Thank you.
And Melkar?
Torn between listening or being a rebel and doing the opposite of Yoan. Can't decide. I'm gonna do like a half squat in the middle here.
Okay.
Like a squat thrust, basically.
Like sitting on an invisible chair.
Oh. Oh, jeez.
Alright. So, you see, from beneath her table, she produces a deck of cards with rather intricate patterns adorning back sides of them. And she pulls a number of them from the deck and arranges them in sort of a cross pattern on the tabletop.
I nudge Malakar and say, I've seen this trick before. She's gonna make him disappear.
Not quite.
She then kind of puts the rest of the deck to the side and says, "This card," putting her hand over the top of, "tells of history. Knowledge of the ancient will help you better understand your enemy." At this point, she flips it.
Ooh, wait. It's an old dude with a quill?
It is the miser. Look for a fortress inside a fortress, in a place hidden behind the fire.
Okay, wait. Portrait.
Taylor, make sure
Yeah.
you write this down.
Alright.
Yeah.
What is it now? Miser is the history? That one showed the history, right?
Yes, this card tells of history. Knowledge of the ancient will help you better understand your enemy. And the
very
card
cool.
itself, the card itself was the miser.
Okay.
Cthulhu
And
is
as-
a miser.
As to the meaning of the card, Madame Eva said, "Look for a fortress inside a fortress, in a place hidden behind fire."
Alright.
Her hand then moves on to what would be the top card on your screen. She kind of gestures to it and says, "This card tells of a powerful force for good and protection. A holy symbol of great hope."
And you said the top was... I'm sorry, I'm trying to cover everything. Top was the...
She flips it. So, just to reiterate what I said, the card tells of a powerful force for good and protection. A holy symbol of great hope. Flipping it over and seeing that the card is the rogue, she says, "I see a nest of ravens. There you will find the prize. Or Perhaps you already have?
And we got the Raven, or Morning Lord, or whatever.
Yes, we got a fourth of our group has that.
Holy symbol of Ravenkind.
That could prove useful. She moves her hand over to the card on your right and says, "This is a card of power and strength. It tells of a weapon, vengeance, a sword of sunlight. Flips it over. The Abjurer. I see a fallen house, guarded by a great stone dragon. Look to the highest peak. She moves on to the bottom card. This card sheds light on one who will help you greatly in the battle against darkness. She
Okay.
flips it. The mists. A Vistana, one of my people, wanders this land alone, searching for her mentor. She does not stay in one place for long. She closes her eyes for a moment and sort of concentrates. Seek her out at St. Markovia's Abbey, near the mists.
Okay. I just see Ron with a quill and paper and just scribbling as fast as he can.
Finally, she brings her hand to the card in the middle and says, "Your enemy is a creature of darkness, whose powers are beyond mortality. This card will lead you to him."
I mean, all you have to do is ask me. I can lead you right to him.
She flips the card. Says, "The artifact. He lurks in the darkness where the morning light once shone. A sacred place."
Those bones that we retrieved? Maybe?
You said he lurks in the darkness where light once shone. What was after that?
A sacred place.
Maybe the Amber Temple?
You don't know?
Do you know of the Amber Temple?
You're asking Madame Eva?
Yeah.
She says, "I have heard of it, never seen it with my own eyes."
And one more time, can you repeat the bottom card one? It was a powerful, and that was about all I got.
The bottom card, that would have been the one for the mists.
Wait, left, you did left. Oh,
It went
was the top.
left, yeah, left top. Okay, so
Okay.
you need the second card, basically.
Yes.
A powerful force for good and protection,
Alright.
a holy symbol of great hope.
Got it. Okay, then the card was the rogue. A nest of ravens, arrow, you will find the prize.
Yep.
Got it. Cool. Huh. Alright.
She just kind of exhales deeply. Just. I hope this has been of service to you.
Yeah, great service. I look to Yoan and message. She's out of her mind.
I just shrug and say, well, she's listed something we've already found. Ed knows our names, so.
I look back to Yoan and say, is she in my mind? This is my message.
I don't know.
Right, that's it. Well, if you'll excuse me, I have to go, sorry. And I'll just kind of turn and, like, walk out. And then I'll, like, hold the thing open and say, thank you, by the way.
She just laughed. Just
I say aloud to her, in deep speech, would you like to join forces?
in deep speech.
Yeah.
Question of the day: does Madame Eva speak deep speech? Let's see here. She is quite learned, but she does not know that one. So she just looks at you like,
I'll switch to Abyssal. Do you want to join forces?
ah. Join forces how?
Accumulate an army.
For what purpose?
Getting out of this dump of Barovia, for starters.
My people traverse the mists freely.
So you can just snap your fingers and leave.
Not quite as simple as that, but it is considerably more simple than what one of your group might experience should you go for a stroll through the mists.
Is there any way you could help us get through?
I am afraid our ability to transport others to the mists is subject to limitation.
Do you want to help me off Strahd then?
While I do wish to see this land liberated, I cannot be an active participant.
I just in a very exaggerated manner, sigh and shrug my shoulders and just turn around and walk out.
Do you know where Irina is?
She kind of looks over at you, and there's a bit of a pause as she transitions in her head from language to language, and she just says, "I know this name, but there is no one by that name here.
Thank you.
You are welcome. And she just sits there.
I'll leave after Malkar.
Okay.
How far is Ron from me?
I don't know. How far is Ron?
I don't know. I just kind of walked out and was that guy telling another story?
They're all just kind of drunkenly singing and dancing around the fire.
Yep, I'm joining them.
Okay.
I got a couple joints passing around.
All right. So yeah, Malkar, you emerge from the tent to see Ron, kind of like arm in arm with all the Vistani, just kind of dancing around the fire and seemingly having a pretty good time.
Anyone who needs help lighting the joint, I'll just use prestidigitation, make sparks, and light it.
Are you joining us, son?
I'm not dancing or nothing, but I'll stand by.
Okay.
I'll find Malkar and see if he could message or talk to Irina because I can't find her.
Question. Message works for 120 feet. Can I try to message Irina? Since I don't know her.
Yeah, let me look at the specifics there.
I will link it. There you go.
We have to point it in the direction.
Yeah, you have to know what direction they're
Just-
Do a 360
Yeah.
until you get it right.
I'll just pick crowd. Like, are there actual crowds?
There's really just kind of the one that's congregated in the central area by the fire.
I'm gonna just point into the crowd and just random places and say and try to message Irina.
Okay. So yeah, point and cast, point and cast, point and cast. You are not getting a connection.
Nope, she's lost and gone forever. I shrug and go back to partying.
Don't you have sending?
Nope, not anymore. Got her.
You got rid of it? Oh, okay. I guess I'll just go back to the wagon with Rictavio.
Okay. So Malkar strikes out from the camp, kind of sloshing through the muddy dirt path along the way back to the wagon.
Prestidigitation my clothes and feet and whatnot if I have to get the mud off.
Okay. Yeah, you see Rictavio just sitting on top of the wagon, kind of muttering something to himself, but he sees you approach and kind of acknowledges your presence and seems to be keeping a watchful eye on you.
I want to very awkwardly just come into the wagon and sit next to him and look straight forward and don't say a word.
Alright. You can still kind of feel the side eye.
That's fine. I guess I'll turn and ask what's troubling him.
He just sighs. This is by no means how I expected my week to be going.
Is there any way I can help?
Got a spare horse lying around?
No, but I can help pay for one.
That's very kind of you. But I think I will be able to handle it once we reach some sort of civilization again. Did you find the girl or whatever it is you were looking for?
Yeah, we ended up finding her. She was some kind of, I guess, layman's terms, a fortune teller. And she pretty much gave us clues and hints to what we need to do to basically stop Strahd.
The Burgomaster's daughter was a fortune teller.
Oh, not her. I forgot. You weren't there. We ended up finding some other woman. We never found the initial person we came here for.
I see. Well, if I understand correctly, and this woman you're looking for is on the run from Strahd and his agents, probably for the best that she is not in any sort of large encampment or anything like that, especially with these folk.
What do you suggest our next course of action should be, other than waiting for the other two?
Well, if it were me on the run, I would be looking for some sort of shelter or functional base of operations. And if she is alone, as you say, she'll probably be looking to do that sooner rather than later. Preserve her strength and not have to spend any more time out in the woods at night than she would need to.
Is there anything nearby?
Well, given that she probably won't be strolling up to Castle Ravenloft anytime soon, that leaves the gatehouses near where we spent the night. The ruins of whatever remains of the windmill. Vallaki. She may not know of the events that have been transpiring there over the last few days. And, well, Vallaki is sort of the gateway to all of Western Barovia.
I guess we should probably head there once they get back here. Or at
Point,
the
I
very
guess
least.
I'm coming along down the path.
Okay.
I'm following Ron to make sure he doesn't do anything stupid.
I just walk calmly down the path. Walk back to the group and say, or back to Malkar and tell you and say, so, well, I didn't really believe a word that lady said. She was kind of crazy. Still can't figure out how she knew our name. It must be one of those new magic tricks. Or Yoan, did you tell her before we? No, you're with us. Rictavio, did she set you up for this?
I'm not even sure what you're talking about.
Oh. Well, if she is to be believed, we have the history thing, left card that she talked about. A fortress inside of a fortress. Sounds. I mean, if I were
Hidden.
putting a fortress in a fortress, I'd be putting a tower up, wouldn't I?
It also said it was hidden or cloaked by fire.
Look for a fortress inside a fortress in a place hidden behind fire.
I was thinking about maybe there's a secret door behind a fireplace.
Yeah. Would it be? I know you talked about that tower on the lake. Is that the only tower in Barovia?
Octavio thinks for a moment, and well, there are the spires of Ravenloft.
Where are those?
Castle Ravenloft.
Oh, Castle Ravenloft. Well, what do you? Yeah. Shit. Right. Well, what do you know about? Is there a place guarded by a stone dragon around here?
Stone dragon. That's all you have to go off of.
It is a sword. It's a weapon. Sword of Sunlight. And it's a fallen house guarded by a great stone dragon. And it says, and the other part was, look to the highest peak. Is there a mountain?
There are a number of mountains here. Mount Baratok to the north, Mount Gakis to the south. But fallen house. Well, I'm not sure how up to date these fortunes are, but there's of course the fallen burgomaster, well, the two fallen burgomasters now, of Barovia and Vallaki.
Can I make a history check to see if I remember what the, if there was a symbol on Irina and Eastmark's, like, around their house at all? Like, if I saw, like, a family crest or anything?
Sure. There were some symbols adorning the house, but most of them seemed to be more religious symbols than anything else.
Okay, so it wasn't like a stone dragon or...
Yeah, if anything, you saw a number of various depictions of the sun kind of hanging around both the exterior and interior of the old burgomaster's mansion. Rictavio kind of goes on and he's thinking, pondering. I mean, some gargoyles look like dragons. There's some old large manor or something off to the west. Not been there myself, but it's in the foothills. I'm not sure.
Alright, so you said a manor in the west?
Yeah.
Alright. Let's see, what else? And then we had... card... the card was... Oh! Can we... go to... Where is St. Markovia's Alley?
Abby.
What is it?
Abby.
Oh, it's Abbey. I heard Alley.
Important distinction.
Yeah. Got it. Where's St. Markovia's Abbey?
That would be in the town of Kresk. Or just beyond it. Be more specific. Another location near the western mist.
So literally everything we need is in the west. I'll look at Octavia and say, I don't know about you, but I, for one, am getting tired of riding on that wagon.
Well, do you have any alternatives you'd like to present?
I don't know, maybe we pick a side and stay there? We've been back and forth across this place.
I mean,
Whatever.
what are you gonna do? Settle down?
I might. I kind of like it here. It's quaint. I might, once this is all said and done, I might go bulldoze that shitty old windmill down and put up a nice summer abode.
Be able to go on tours and stuff, though.
Yeah. Well, that windmill we already burnt to the ground. It's garbage.
I'm not sure the people here like your music.
Well, I don't care. They like my money.
How do you get money? How it working?
I'll go on tour, but I'm saying when this is all said and done. And I start just daydreaming about the different stuff. Like the way I would have a house. And, yeah, all that.
Alright. Okay. So, Rictavio kind of... Well? What's our next move?
I guess it's to go to the west.
Go to the what?
To the west.
Well, are we gonna try to find Irina?
Yeah,
Is-
after that.
Oh, okay. I'd like to cast Locate Irina. I don't have
Actually, I think... Yeah, everybody go ahead and make a history check. There's some... Oh,
There's something what?
go ahead and make a history check. I'll say this. For some reason, the name St. Markovia's Abbey rings familiar.
Where they wanted Irina to go.
Wait, wasn't that the place that Blacklight was in? No.
Would you like to make another history check?
Yeah, sure.
Yes?
Fuck.
Could be, is like Saint something. No, the church in Vallaki is Church of Saint Andral.
Oh. Yeah, I'm not one of those religious types. I knew it was a saint something.
There's St. Markovia.
Yes.
I have to ponder on that, I don't know.
That wasn't where he was trying to take her, was it?
Can't remember where that name sounds familiar from. But but it does sound familiar.
Can I try and get in that trance-like state again and focus on that name?
Pose?
I'm gonna climb back up on the wagon and try again.
What was the church in Barovia, too?
You actually never got the name of that.
You're too busy doing drugs.
Passing out on the front steps.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to go back there and take out whatever's in the basement?
Yes. Let's do that right now.
First you want to set it free, now you want to kill it.
No, I was going to feed it a dream pastry. Was I so wrong? I figured maybe that would shut the damn kid up.
Rictavio just kind of looks over like, what are you talking about?
Some old dude had his kid locked in the basement, and the kid was saying he was hungry, and I was going to feed him, and Yoan wouldn't let me.
Didn't we discuss that he's probably a
You and
vampire?
just face palms.
Yeah, Rictavio kind of looks around at the rest of the group like, really?
Yeah?
You do realize his son was a vampire.
Okay.
He would have ate you, not your dream pastry.
Well, now we're good enough. We can go take him out. Take out that sick old man for locking his kid up, too.
If the child was a vampire, he is best locked in the basement.
Forever? I don't know how vampires work.
Well, vampirism isn't exactly something that one just recovers from.
Oh. I guess there is that. Well, do you have any way of helping us locate Irina?
That is a good question. And he ponders the abilities that he has.
Look over at Melkar. Can't you, like, make a distraction to try to draw her to us or something? No, wait, actually don't. No.
Someone say fire.
Fire where?
Over there.
I look where he's pointing.
There is indeed some fire.
Oh, jeez. Is that supposed to be there?
I just shrug.
Oh. You think we should put it out?
Do what you want.
Fuck it.
I put out the fire.
I see Yoan's gonna do it anyway, so I just fuck it. I'm not gonna put it out.
Rictavia does chime in, say, I could attempt a sort of crude communion with Morning Lord, and, well, it is a bit of a challenge to establish a connection here, but I may be able to at least test our intention, see if we would be on the right path should we come to some sort of resolution and then allow me to perform a brief ritual.
So you're just gonna do a ritual, right?
Well, let us decide what the next course of action is. Then I can perform the ritual, which will then indicate whether this is the course of action we should take to achieve our goals.
Okay. Those people are a tribe. They said they're a tribe. What do you know about these people here?
The Vistani?
Yeah, those.
Many of them have given themselves over to Strahd. Many of them serve him.
Oh.
They
Do any of the ones here?
I chose not to venture in with you so as to jeopardize your communications with.
Ah, they don't like you.
Nor I many of them.
So should we worry that she might be leading us in the wrong direction then? All this some old lady told to us.
It is certainly possible.
Have you ever heard of Madame Eva?
I've heard the name. Those that I've heard of her from have mentioned how she seemed to know things that she couldn't possibly have known.
She seems to be against Strahd. But at the same time, not willing to help us.
Well, it would seem she pointed you toward some implements that you could use to further your cause, yes?
Yes.
She didn't want to amass an army with me.
You're saying that out loud.
Yeah.
Kind of raises an eyebrow and looks at you like, what the fuck?
I think he stole Loopy from his whole book ordeal.
Let's hope it's only that.
I mean, there was an army against Strahd, but so we can get out of here. But yeah.
Well, it wasn't drugs. I tried scoring those. I couldn't find any.
I'd look over at Ron and use my awakened mind and say, if you're looking for drugs, I can give you drugs of power.
Oh, really? What kind of drugs?
Similar to what I have in terms of power.
I don't really need power. I need to get out of here. Tell you what. Get me out of here. And if we both make it out, we'll discuss this.
Very well.
So, what's the plan?
We need to find out. Well, yes, we don't necessarily need to find Irina because we can't give her the orphans, which is why we're looking for her in the first place.
We can't give her what?
The orphans.
Well, we still need to find her.
Okay, let's find her.
We should probably head out west, resting in the At the ruins of the windmill.
So, we have a goal then, to find this Irina.
Yes.
And we have a plan, yes? To leave, venture west.
Yes.
Specifically, we are aiming to search what area?
Return towards Malkar. What's the best area? Talked. Or who did Malkar or Ron talk to her?
We were all there.
St. Markovia's Abbey.
I was thinking of that though.
So, our plan, for the purposes of this ritual, is to depart for St. Markovia's Abbey in search of this Irina. Correct?
Yes. Or we also need to search for the other person.
What other person?
That's supposed to be at the Abbey.
Yes, we need to... So, Irina and the person at the Abbey are two different people.
And
So,
who
Irina is
who-
here.
who is this other person at the Abbey?
Supposedly they're a...
Vistani
Yes.
wandering looking for their mentor.
Yes.
You see, color kind of drains from Rictavio's face.
Can I insight that to see if he was the mentor?
Sure.
Damn it.
You still rolled better than Rictavio did. This certainly seems like he's familiar with the situation, to say the least.
I wanna ask him, were you the mentor?
I don't know who this person is that you're referring to, so I'm not sure how you expect me to answer that.
Well, what's gotten you, looking like you seen a ghost?
I've seen a number of things here in Via, elsewhere.
Octavio, we're friends. We gave you this cool pendant thing. Statue. Whatever the hell it is. Come on, you can trust us. The more information we have, the better... Well, the better they can plan. I will persuade if I have to.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Can I assist him?
Ron, go ahead and roll again.
Oh.
You don't want me assisting.
I've got a fallback plan.
He seems to take a minute to collect himself. But he says, well, I suppose with the amount of travel we've been doing together in recent days and, well, even weeks at this point, I owe it to you to be a bit more forthcoming than I have been. First of all, my name is not Rictavio. I am Rudolf van Richten.
Holy shit. Alright, hang on. Rudolph, can you spell that?
Yeah.
Is that name supposed to sound familiar, or am I thinking of it from something else?
It's certainly parallel to something in other vampire pop culture lore.
Okay, thank you. Like, it's ringing bells, but I don't know why, so...
And yeah, he goes on to say that I have made my way through life as not only a cleric of the morning wood, but a hunter of beasts, particularly vampires.
Oh shit. So you're you look like that dude I've heard of Van Halen, right? I think that's his name, right?
Van Helsing.
Nope, I'm pretty sure it's Van Halen. Or Van Halen. Halen? Van Halen.
I just let Ron go with it.
Because Van Helsing, that's that band.
Suffice it to say that I have a number of personal motivations for my pursuits.
Does it have to do with this woman and off to the west?
Well, I have a bit of a past with the Vistani. And suffice it to say that I met one of them who didn't share the ideals of the culture as a whole and saw the evils of Strahd and his ways. And so I took her under my wing. Her name is Esmeralda.
Oh boy, hang on. Esmeralda? Got it. Okay.
I didn't know she would be here. She, last I heard, had left and cut all ties with her past. She is quite competent in the hunt, but perhaps not so much as I am.
Curious. If it is the person that's looking for their mentor, do you think is there anything you've done to maybe upset her, like leave her for dead or something?
No, if anything, I've gone out of my way to keep her safe.
Then why are you avoiding her?
I don't want her following me into
Into what?
whatever it is we're about to be involved in.
Well, if she's competent at hunting, or a competent hunter, don't you think having an ally might be good? I mean, she obviously wants to find you, and she's gonna wander her way into this anyway. It's gonna happen some way or another, so we might as well bring her in on our side and knowledgeable about it. mean, just my thoughts. She's one more ally, but she's no use to us if she's killed by Strahd after he finds out what's going on.
If we are to seek her out, I would ask this. Let us do all preparation that we can before reaching out to her. Then, when we believe we are ready to move on whatever it is we intend to do, only then do we reach out, and only then do we involve her.
Can you at least tell her to stop and stay put? So we don't have to worry about hunting her down again?
It shouldn't be me that does that.
Well,
If we can convince her that somehow perhaps I will be arriving in some sort of time frame or something to that effect, something that would motivate her to stay in one place rather than knowing that I am out on the hunt or whatever it is and being tempted to follow me.
alright, describe her to me and tomorrow I will send a message to her. And let her know to stay put in the next or where should she stay? Is the Abbey safe?
I've not been to the Abbey. I don't know.
I guess I'll just tell her to stay safe and that, does she know you as Rictavio or as, Richter, whatever the hell your name is? Rudolph von Richter? By the way, I'm going to continue to call you Rictavio. It's just easier. If you don't mind.
That's perfectly fine. It's probably for the best, especially in public settings.
Oh, okay.
What's his name again?
Rudolph von Richten.
Can I just call you Rick?
I wouldn't advise that.
Is that something that used to get called?
I would tell you to ask what happened to the last one that called me Rick, but you'd probably prefer not to know.
Is he bluffing?
Is he bluffing? He doesn't seem to be bluffing.
What, Ricky?
Why would you call him Ricky? His name's Rudolph.
He just gives you the stink eye.
Fine.
Some people just want to watch the world burn, eh, Rictavio?
So it would seem.
Why don't they give him a nickname?
Rictavio, that's his nickname.
Oh, Richard.
Shall I commence with the ritual then?
Yes, 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 of course.
Is there anything I could do to strengthen your connection?
Probably keep whatever it is you've been up to out of my ritual space.
Take my ritual book and just plop it down right next to him.
I'll say it's okay, it's safe. I tried to do one of the rituals in that book and it's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't work. He's harmless with that book.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead.
Okay. As you plop the book down in the spot that he's already kind of marked off for his ritual, he just looks at it and just gently picks it up, sets it outside the circle, and goes back to his work.
Prestidigitation sparks and set it on fire.
The book?
Your book?
Yeah! I give it back.
I'm gonna cast prestidigitation and put out the flame. And say, be careful. That's a very expensive spell book.
It's fine. I'll show you another trick.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Wait.
I'll pick up the book and set it a little farther away from Octavio's area, just so it don't distract him. And then I'll set it back down and set it back on fire.
I'm gonna prestidigitation and put it out, and I'm gonna say, wait, you're trying to destroy this, right?
Don't worry, I'll show you. It'll take a little bit, but I'll show you.
Okay, I know, but you're destroying this, right?
Yeah.
And I take the book and fling it up in the air and cast Eldritch Blast and attempt to shoot it.
Okay, the book spirals through the air after being hit with this blast, a big scorch mark on the cover of it. And it just kind of thump against the side of the wagon.
Shit, I thought that would be a little bit better. Stupid book! And if it has any sentience, I just did 7 damage to it psychically.
You do not know whether the book is offended or not.
That's fine. I feel better about it. I'll go pick it up and put it back down in front of Melkar and I and cast prestidigitation and light it back on fire.
Okay. So it's a gradual process, but so is the ritual that Rictavio is performing.
I'm just sitting around, like, near the fire, just kind of rubbing my hands together and, you know, as one would at a fire.
Alright.
Let's say, give me a bit of time. I'm gonna go up on the wagon.
Well, hey, you got any more books I can burn? This is not really burning too well.
You'll see. Surprise. And I climb up on the wagon and I start my own ritual.
Okay. In the meantime, you just see Rictavio off to one side of the wagon. He looks to be... he's like rolling a pair of, like, to be gem inlaid small golden sticks, kind of rolling them between his palms, and then he lets them go and kind of fall on the ground. Picks them up, does it again, lets them fall, and then he just seems to sort of sit there and wait. It's a long wait. Probably 5-10 minutes. Before finally a raven comes to light on his shoulder. Gives one quick caw and flies off to the west.
Oh, I was in that time, I'm like, shoo, go on, shoo, get out of here. Telling it to get out of here.
Rictavio then just stands up and says, I think we're on the right path.
Oh. The right path according to the Dawn Marshal?
The Morning Lord.
That one. Sorry, not too religious. Right. Well, cool. This means you'll help us, and by association, I guess she'll help us then, right? Your mentee.
Yes, but remember, we don't want to get her involved before we...
No, that's fine. I know. Okay. Well, I guess Melkar was going to show me a trick, but so far all he's done is light his book on fire.
At this point, the book is like partially burnt up. There's, probably like the top half of it is pretty much reduced to ash. it's kind of a slow process using a non-attack spell, but
Yeah.
Just continue casting my own ritual till an hour has passed.
okay. And
What time of day is it?
it's getting pretty late. You guys haven't really rested since. Well, you haven't had a long rest, I should say, since staying the night at the gatehouse when you had all those wonderful dreams.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's probably around dusk.
We should
Okay.
probably camp here for the night.
Yep, I will. So we've been riding with Rictavi enough. I see where he pulls the meat from, right? That he gives to
Yeah.
the tiger.
Yeah.
I'll reach in there and grab a nice big slab of meat and open the trapdoor and say, "Here," I'll hand it to the tiger and say, "Here, I'm coming in. I gotta share with you tonight." And I'll just leave the hatch open.
I would be like, hey, Ron, can you cast that spell?
What spell?
The one where it creates a room? A hut? around
No,
us?
unfortunately, I cannot.
Okay.
Should have taught me.
I still can, I just don't have spell slots. What does it take for me to teach him?
50 gold per spell level and 2 hours of time per spell level.
Yeah,
So
it'd take
6
me
hours and
hours.
100 gold.
Yeah. 150 because it's a third level.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, keep that in mind. But no, as of now, I cannot.
That's unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. That's what the sending spell does. So, I will continue climbing in and just go to bed.
Okay. What are the other two doing?
Finishing up my little ceremony.
Okay. Yeah, and as Melkar finishes uttering the last few words of his ritual, a new book just kind of materializes out of a swirling black smoke that rolls in.
I'll peek down into the hatch. And I'll show Ron the book. Say, hey, Ron, look.
Huh? What? Oh! What? How? Why did you pick up the burnt book? Oh, it's not burnt. Oh! That's cool.
Told you not to worry.
Well, do that to your other book.
I can't, unfortunately.
Oh.
Only this one.
Well, Yoan probably should have burned that one then. Well, we'll have to find one. We'll find you another book like that.
Alright, how much money do you have on you?
116 gold.
Oh, jeez. And it's how long from dark? Like how many hours?
From dark, like not even one.
Is there room for both of us and the tiger down in there?
Tiger doesn't seem all too thrilled with this prospect, but could feasibly work.
Nah, I'm not risking that. Just gonna lay up top, I guess. Or I can take the first watch.
You should take night watch.
Alright,
'Cause you can see in the dead of night, and you don't need anything.
yeah. I guess I'll take second or third watch.
I'll take the other one.
Yoan's taking first.
I mean, I can see in the night too.
I cannot, so...
So I guess you should take the first watch,
Okay.
and then Yoan, and then me.
Alright, I'll climb back out of the thing and say, sorry dude, I'll sleep, use a pill later. To the tiger. And I guess I'll climb up and sit. And just keep watching. Is Rictavio's like Elven, isn't he? Or half Elven?
He has the appearance of being half elven. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
Oh boy. That's a Steven.
Sure, he looks like a half elf.
Alright, I'll say, hey Rictavio, I think you might be able to see better than I can. You wanna help me stay awake for a couple hours here?
I'm not sure that my vision is any better than yours. He kind of grabs the tip of one of his ears and gives a little tug and just pops right off.
Wait. So wait, he's just a human?
Uh-huh.
My mind is fucking blown. Well, shit, damn. Okay. What else don't I know about you?
Oh, lots of things, don't worry.
Well, here's a question. I've seen priests be able to cast put a light on something. Do you have that?
Yes, I do.
Ah, well, you want to stay up with me and we can talk? Because since I have no way of producing any light of my own.
That might be wise.
Okay. I was just gonna go try to grab a stick in the woods and light it on fire. See how well that worked.
And he just see what he's got that he's gonna light up. He just pulls out his cane and casts a spell on like the what you know to be the hilt of the sword that comes out of it.
Oh, okay.
Just kind of plants it in the ground.
Cool. So, and then I guess at this point the other two are starting to fall asleep and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna sleep up top.
So I'll see
I will
Octavio.
too.
I'll say, so, and I'll think about it and go, no. And I'm gonna message. And so this whole conversation's gonna be in message. Just in silence, sitting there.
Okay.
So Octavio, what else haven't you told us about your history? You share some and I'll share some.
He just stares off into the woods and says, "Well, I've led quite a life. But, well, somehow or another, I always end up back on the road by myself.
By yourself.
Yes.
So you used to wander with a group?
Well, not a group per se, but I've been known to take on the occasional follower, apprentice, student, pet.
I fear you must let your tiger out before he gets... This makes my sleeping quarters any damper.
That might be a good idea. Let's take a quick break.
Okay.